long time, I stayed in the area of the group's headquarters. It was just me, Sandra, and our controller. He had stayed in power the whole time from we came in power in 1996 up to 2019, which that's what time frame is now. Only Sandra go on special missions because everyone thought I was dead. But soon we get a new member, but it wasn't a crane or a truck or a coach or any piece of rolling stock. It was a crane. But I never met her. Only Sandra and the controller did. And her name was Carly. She was Yellow Crane. And worked around the docks most of the time until, well, she got moved around sometimes. But she mainly stayed at the docks. I was getting worn out at that point, so I was left in the shed for a long time. Only Sandra went out. So I stayed there for 3 years, only doing sometimes odd jobs. But in 2022, I got finally restored. And, well, the boss decided to send me out to do a mission. He told me, Neville, I'm sending you out on a mission. I know it's been 3 years, but I need to go scout towards Knapford, because we haven't been out there in a while. And, well, you only need to go scout out at Knapford. And if they tell you to do anything, just do what they say. Because I don't want them thinking anything suspicious. You know, I've been gone for 20 years. True that, but just go. Alright? Goodbye, sir. Goodbye, Neville. And in the 20 years that after Charlie was killed, the man started calling me by my name, so 30006. And which I was happy about. And as you know, and I went to Knapford and scouted out for a bit, asked any questions, blah blah blah, and took a passenger train, and well, that's my story. I still work for the group, and Sandra is still working for the group, but we got a new man in charge in late 2022, entering 2023. But I'll tell you about him another day, probably. But it's just me and Sandra now. We're the only engines left. We don't mind. It's more peaceful now, because most of the guards do other stuff now, unless they're guarding the place. And well, that is my story. That is my story. I'm glad I could tell you about it. But, well, hope you enjoy my story. And, well, there will be a port engine later in the story. But that's a story for another day. That's all for this story. A Neville story.